This conference will now be recorded.
All right, welcome all. I will call the Tuesday, April 28th, 2026 meeting of the Village Plan Committee to order. In Ken Nelson's absence, I will ask the committee to appoint a temporary chair for this meeting.
I move that BD Thorpe be our chair for the evening, as long as he speaks into the microphone.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, BD.
Okay, here we go. All right, Brent, we do have a quorum. Do you agree?
We do indeed.
Okay. I will accept the motion to approve the previous working session minutes from March 31st, 2026.
I move we accept the minutes from March
31st.
31st. Sorry. Thank you. As presented.
Okay,
I'll second that.
all righty. All in favor of accepting minutes, say aye.
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 Okay, how about a motion to accept the plan committee minutes from the same day, March 31st, 2026?
I move that the committee accept the minutes from Tuesday, March 31st, 2026.
Thank you.
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Okay, the minutes are approved. Brent, do we have any changes to the agenda?
No changes, BD.
Thank you. Are there any visitors' comments at this time? Okay, hearing none, we will go to item number 6. John and Victoria Cultura, 9887 Water Street, new single-family residence, conditional use, design review. Brent, do you have anything to add to that little sermon I just gave?
No, well, I'll still talk
Yeah.
for a minute, but
Okay,
yeah, so Culture Project has been before both HPC and Plan twice in the concept review stage. As you know, at the meeting last time, we did give them direction relative to footprints of the garage and the existing home, whether or not those two could be combined or whether they had to be dealt with separately. The committee did decide that they were two independent buildings, and per the intent of the code, you couldn't use footprint from one to increase the footprint of the other. Given that, the owner, contractor, and architect have come up with a new concept before. With that said, this is a formal conditional use hearing and design review meeting. This went before HPC for recommendation this evening. So BD, I'll ask you for a recommendation from them. And then with that, being it is a conditional use hearing, we do have one piece of written correspondence from a neighbor. So when you're ready, I can read that into the record, BD.
okay. Why don't you go ahead and read it, and then I'll chime in.
Dear committee members, as the owners of the new build at 9889 Water Street, we would like to share a few observations regarding the most recent culture plans submitted for review. We greatly respect the work the plan committee is in upholding Ephraim's ordinances within the historical and protected waterfront districts. We also recognize that some ordinance language may benefit from clarification, and we look forward to the town board upcoming zoning evaluation. We fully support progress, appreciate the Cultura's efforts to build a new home. Our concerns are the concentration of mass on the second floor, the roof line, and the chimney placement. The proposed north side elevation dwarfs the adjacent structure, resulting in a loss of visual harmony. We respectfully ask that the Culturas and their design team consider these concerns as the plans continue to evolve. As always, we trust the plan committee to apply the ordinances thoughtfully and to continue safeguarding the character and beauty of the historic waterfront. We wish John and Victoria every success as they move forward with their new home. Sincerely, Tom and Kathleen Price.
And that's the only one?
That's the only one, BD.
Okay. Okay, so for those that weren't here, the HPC did vote by 3-1 to approve this. One of the stipulations was that some of the outside lanterns be removed. We didn't come to a exact number. And also, everybody was okay with it. One of the members was concerned about the railings on the water side. And also, I think, pretty much comments about the roof lines came up, but it appears to have been better than the other generation was. So other than that, that's about it from HPC. I do have one comment or one question for everybody out there. Do you have samples for us to look at? Okay, good.
Yes, I do.
Thank you. All right, could you state your name for the plan committee, please? And,
Yeah, Drew Willman, Delirious Construction.
okay, thanks, Drew. Rick, why don't you start out?
Yeah, I guess, my one concern, I guess, that I have is the sheer number of roof lines. Do you know, I mean, can you give roof pitches for each one of those separate roof lines?
Yes, I can. There is a roof plan on the screen right now.
Okay. Yeah,
Sorry.
Hard to see.
it's kind of hard for me to see
You
these
can
as
see it
as they're
down
in our
here.
packet.
Yeah, you're welcome.
This is John Cultra. I just wanted to introduce myself to those. I've met a number of folks, but not everybody. I think my wife Victoria is on the line, as well as surprisingly one of my sons. So it's good to see some engagement at the younger next generation. But Victoria and I were introduced to Door County and Ephraim in particular in 1992 by the Schmeltz family, Tony and Barb, and instantly fell in love with it, and haven't missed a summer or a season since. We love Ephraim in particular, and all 4 kids. We have 4 kids ranging from 25 to 14. Every one of them has been here and spent a lot of time in the summers in particular. And so what we're trying to accomplish with this house is essentially, as we've been rearing children for 25 years, we have 3 years left with the freshmen in high school graduating hopefully shortly. We plan on spending a lot more time in Ephraim, and each structure house has a useful life to it. And this house in particular, we've been kind of patchworking for a while. We love the home, love the location, but unfortunately it just needs to be, rebuilt. And so our thought process is to get that going now, so it's ready for when we can actually spend, as much time as we'd like, which is a lot more up here. So we really appreciate all the time and effort that the planning committee, as well as the historical committee, has given to this. We want to get to an end result that we're very proud of. The community is very proud of it. It fits well with the history and nature of Ephraim, and so we really appreciate all your guys' hard work and consideration for this.
Grace, go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead, Rick. Keep going.
well, anyway, I want to commend you also, in the sense that, I've been on the committee for the different concept reviews, and I appreciate your efforts to get the project closer, to a, quote unquote Ephraim looking house. And you heard the comments from the HPC. I share some of the concerns. In Ephraim, as we can see, the historic buildings have very simple roof lines. I guess my understanding from the materials is that the footprint is smaller than the existing home. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
But the additional space is being added upstairs. Is that correct? That's to the extent the house is bigger by a few hundred square feet?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. I guess I also share, if we could, if some of the lighting could be reduced, I think I'm kind of consistent with the comments there. I guess I would ask, looking at the south elevation, and I don't know, I'm not an architect, but the home would be a little less busy if that roof line that is in the middle here, is that I'm going to ask maybe a dumb question. Is that absolutely necessary for the design of the home?
It is. The only reason that's there is for the staircase. So that is to maintain head height to get to the second floor. Other than that, that roof does not cover anything other than staircase.
For the staircase, and the staircase would need to be located in that part of the home for the,
Yeah, I mean, yes, we'd want it there central to the layout of the home.
I'm having a tough time with the roof pitches. I just can't see this well enough. The shallowest roof pitch is what, is it 412 or 612? I can't tell. Is it three?
There's a saddle, non-visible from the ground right there in the middle. That is a 312.
Okay.
Basically trying to keep it below the peaks of the other two ridges. So that brings it to a 3. But other than that, yes, everything is 4 or above.
And so we can with a non-primary roof pitch accept something less than a 612?
I think that's a question we probably need to address. I think it's specific, there's a specific carve out for dormers. I can BD carry on and I'll try to find that
Yeah,
language.
Brent, I'm pretty sure it says that the only way you can go below 612 is via dormer. And dormers cannot occupy any more than 50% of the total roof area. And you can go any lower than 312. And I think it's in what you included in there.
The most shallow one is 312, that's correct?
But that's for, what do you call it, saddle?
It's a saddle roof.
It just
The
helps.
only intention is to shed water to the outside of this footprint of the structure. Otherwise, without it, it would pool in the center of the home.
While you're looking, Rick, do you have any,
That's all I have for
Okay.
at the moment.
Grace?
I guess I do like that you did reduce the footprint, and I appreciate the Cultras working with us as well. However, I do feel that the design still looks so busy, and I don't know the roof lines, the grids in the windows or something. It makes it just look too, it's not a simple look. Which we like to have in Ephraim. The other concern is, I don't know if you know or not, but we do like to have the dark sky concept in Door County. And there's a lot of light pollution, and I definitely agree that way too many outside lights. I would like to see that reduced as well, significantly. Those are my comments.
Monique?
I'm probably going to echo basically everything that everyone said up here. What's hard for us and what we found in this recent process of the rebuilds is that it's our responsibility as stewards to keep the designs as simple as possible, to keep the spirit of the village, a very simple farmhouse design with not a lot of dormers and not a lot of flourishes. And I know you've taken a lot of that out, and I appreciate it. I sort of feel like what Cody said and Amy, that it's going in the right direction. Unfortunately, I feel like it could go a little further in order to kind of meet what we're trying to achieve in the village.
Brent, I just noticed, do we have Andy on tonight?
I do not see Andy on, but I do believe Ken is on.
How about Laird?
I don't see Laird either.
Ken, are you there?
I am here.
Would you like to weigh in?
Please.
Okay.
Relative to the plans and the exterior lighting, I would like to see all the exterior lighting removed except for at exterior doorways. Number 2, the roof slope over the screened-in porch. I don't know, the drawing I have is so small, but I know it's less than 6 to 12. Maybe it's 4 to 12.
Yeah.
And if you looked at the view of the screened-in porch, if you look at the west elevation, There you go. Yeah, if you looked at the west elevation, that would be the lower roof on the left. Goes over the screened-in porch and also, I think, the entranceway. We allow less than 6 to 12 on dormers. And I don't think you could define that roof line as a dormer. It doesn't have a living space there. It doesn't have a window. So I would like to see that roof line back to the 6 to 12.
Yes, it can be brought up to 612. Intention keeping it a little bit lower is to match more of the existing mass of the house. Going up to 612 is only going to increase our mass, with the existing roof being less than a 1 pitch over the roof and the rear screen porch area, which would not be allowed in any case in today's code. So it can be increased to 6, but the intention was to reduce the common echo of the mass is too large.
Okay, I get that. My challenge when I look at this is all these different roof lines makes the house look very complicated. And maybe there's other ways to simplify it. And talking about that, let me ask a question. If we look at the south elevation, you have, I'll call them on the first floor, 2 dormered areas. They're almost like small bay fronts. And I'm wondering what the whole house would look like if those were simply eliminated. And I would think that would add to the simplicity, because they're just introducing kind of a dormer look there, and then you got a shed roof on top. So I'm wondering, are you doing that for space? Because there's not a lot of interior space created with those 2, or is that just a design feature?
It's a little bit of both. It's less necessary at the garage. At the home, it is being utilized as space. But part of maybe it's gone too far, but part of it is there should be architectural interest. You aren't supposed to have any large expanses of nothing per as it's written. So that's introducing some of that architectural interest versus just having a flat front.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not necessarily against the little bump out. It's the gable over it. And maybe that's the only way it works. And another suggestion is to go to the second floor. Have you ever considered combining those 2 sheds and make it 1 shed roof line to simplify the roof line up there?
We had not, but that could be done to unify them as 1 roof line.
Yeah, I think it would simplify things. Let's see.
Hey, Brent, can you bring up the picture of the 2 neighbor houses? Thanks. Can you see that picture?
Yes, sir, I can.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not expecting a replica. By all means, we're not looking to have a standard look here at all. We like the diversity in styles, if you will. But you can see that the Price house is fairly a simple look with a large shed dormer and then basically an additional shed over the front door. So if you can come up with ways to simplify that, and if any of my suggestions make sense, but I do have a problem with the back because it doesn't meet our ordinance. The ordinance says nothing less than 612 unless it's a dormer. And I wouldn't consider that a dormer over the screened-in porch there. That would be the west elevation there.
Yeah, we can increase that to 6 there. And we'll add a couple feet to height onto that.
Right. I think it would also simplify, the roof line above it that we see in front of the chimney, is that a 612?
I believe that's a 712.
Oh, 712, okay. Okay, yeah, it's there's a lot going on for us to consider when we talk about the simplicity of buildings. I think if you could work on those two front bump outs or bays, I would call them, and maybe the roof, the double shed dormers, I think that could simplify things.
Okay.
Thank you. Those are my comments, BD.
Okay, thank you. With that said, I'm hearing the whole committee kind of looking for maybe another, well, we would either have to postpone or vote on what we have now, right? I'm sensing everybody would like to see a new design or an updated design.
Yeah.
Ken, do you agree with that?
Yeah, but I think there's more options.
Okay.
Right now, maybe Brent, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Maybe Brent could explain the timeline here. There is time for another submittal, and Brent, why don't you explain that?
Yeah, so I know, the culture team has been, involved and this was discussed at the last meeting. We will touch on it later, the last item on our agenda. But at the same meeting in which we heard concept reviews for this application and then the one that's coming after, there was a recommendation from this body to send a proposal or a recommendation of the village board to basically put a 6-month, we call it at the time a moratorium, but find a mechanism in which we can force the period of 6 months, I believe, basically stop hearing applications, however that mechanism was going to be. So we could have time to take a look at this ordinance and massage it to make it easier to interpret, answer some questions, some confusion that had been out there from a definition standpoint, and address some of the concerns over bulk and simplifying of roof lines and things that we've encountered along the way. So the planning committee or the village board did set a public hearing for an ordinance amendment that we'll be taking a look at later if we want to continue that recommendation. So that meeting of the village board in which they'll be considering that ordinance change will occur on May 12th. So as of this meeting today for this present application and any applications that come in completed form to me prior to, and this is if the board were to approve the ordinance change, we would still hear under conditional use any applications that come in prior to the board possibly approving an ordinance amendment. So if there were a delay or a vote to deny or table, however you would go, if you go in that direction, there still would be, it's 2 weeks from today, the second Tuesday of May would be the deadline to get new applications to be heard again.
And Brent, if I understand that correctly, then if Coulter would come back within the next 2 weeks with some modifications, we would look at that at our May plan committee meeting.
We would hear that in the May plan committee meeting based on the ordinance as it's written today.
Okay, so there is an opportunity for revisions here and for us to take another look at it.
Yes, the window is small, but the window exists.
So in the event that we want to just see the modifications that have been discussed, we would table this pending another submittal?
We could do it by table. Either way, it'll be posted as a new conditional use hearing because the application materials would be likely to change. So we would notify everybody within 300 feet. We'd post it as we typically do, and we'd go through the process we're going through now again.
Am I saying yes? Seeing heads nodding yes? You
I think that's
approve?
what we should do.
I think so, because that
Right.
keeps it moving
Right.
and makes it part of the same process.
Brent, correct me if I'm wrong. If we table it, that's only good till the end of this meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I almost feel since it's a new hearing anyway, we would just, take action on the application as it sits and any new work. If it's a new design, it's a new design. It's a new hearing regardless. So,
So we should reject.
So,
because I think, the typical in a tabling is we just need a little more information on your materials or something like that. It's a supplement to, not a redesign of. So
So-
I'd probably err on the side of action on this
okay,
as
tonight,
is.
I'd make a motion.
Yeah.
Oh,
And the other one, I guess, from HPC, within the design documents and some of the site planning, it does talk about the use of permeable pavers and other pavers in there. It was discussed at HPC that that would be addressed later on. Right now, they're just seeing if they have an actionable item that they can take to the next stage. So regardless, that would be coming, even if we were taking action to approve tonight, it was still on a path towards coming back at some point for a landscaping design approval.
Okay.
BD, could I make another comment?
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
Thank you. I think it's important to give culture as much direction as possible so that we have a successful outcome over the next several weeks. And just a couple comments that I would make. The plans are good, but they have to be fully dimensioned. Interior and exterior, we need full dimensions on the plans. The next meeting, we would need material samples, colors. And then if there's going to be any change to landscaping, we would need a landscape plan, including hardscape, dimensioned and locations. I just want to have as much information as possible. So if we do decide to approve, that we can review all this material. If you look at our ordinance, and I'm sure you have, you can find a list of what we expect as a final submittal.
Okay. Hearing all that, I think we're all in agreement that we need to make a motion and vote on it. And
As a part of your motion, are you going to include Ken made some very specific comments of what his opinions are, what he'd like to see, but do we want to, just by consensus, is there agreement on, I think the roof pitch over the screen porch is a necessity based on the interpretation I heard that it's certainly not a dormer, it's a primary roof pitch, it has to be at least 612. But the other things like, busyness of the roof, the possibility of either eliminating or combining those shed dormers, the idea of the lighting. Ken was specific to a couple examples there, but again, for their purposes, they're putting all their eggs in one basket for next month now. So I don't know if you want to go around the table again, BD, but if those are the only, or if there's, difference from that opinion of Ken's or anything else we want to discuss as a body, I think that would be worth going around again.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Ken came up with a lot of good points, some of which we've talked about HPC, like the lighting. Ken, are you up to making a motion yourself and including what you just said?
No, I am not.
Okay,
Sorry.
that's okay. I understand. Rick, are you capable of?
So the motion that we're talking about, are we talking about rejecting the submittal and then by consensus talking about what we want to see in the next submission? Is that what we want to do?
I think we could either make a positive motion, Prenti, like that, and then
It's clean as to this submission and
and then we kind of have this one.
Yeah, I think if we, make a positive motion, just because that's generally cleaner. If it gets voted down, it gets voted down, and then take a minute to talk about kind of call it a rationale for the denial, but also clarification on what may be more palatable
Okay.
for the committee next time.
All right, based on that, I move that the board approve the building zoning permit application for the property at 9887 Water Street in Ephraim as submitted.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay.
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 The motion fails. Okay,
And,
so now
and then we.
we can just, by consensus, come up with a lot of what, or basically what Ken was suggesting. Okay, so obviously the roof pitch over the screen porch has to come up to a minimum of 612.
Yep, I have that one.
There was, might as well address the lights. I don't know how many we have, but Ken suggested only lights by the interior, any exit door, which
Correct.
will take quite a few of them out of the picture. I have a bad memory. Rick, what else did we
We
say?
have
And then to address the shed, bump out shed dormers, either eliminating those or combining them into one.
We'll combine.
And then also that we need in the new submission, we need to get everything fully dimensioned,
Mhm.
bring the samples back.
Yeah, it's
So
okay if I leave samples.
Ordinarily, I'll find a spot for them.
They're heavy.
I'll find a spot for them. Along with that too, just as we, you know, Andy, we're getting some feedback from you there. I would just say along with the dimensions, we got into the roof pitches quite a bit. If you could break down, you know, there was that language, at HPC, it was discussed at the Golterman, you know, percentage of roof above 612, percentage below.
50.
Yep, if we could address that number, just to
Show the
ensure.
calculations.
Yeah, address that relative to the 50% dormer, or minimum of 50% dormer. I think that'd be great.
And then the landscape plan.
Well,
That-
I
that can-
guess what was discussed at HPC, and I think this is what happened with the Price project, you know, I think there's a lot of question. I'm not trying to defend the process, but I think this is something we're going to come across when it comes to especially conditional use projects where there's a lot of time, a lot of uncertainty tied to this. So for me, I wouldn't expect to see a finished landscape plan with, you know, what's it going to be for plantings. If it's ready, it's
I just lost you, Brent.
Come on. I don't want the webcam. I want the video. Come on now.
Brent, I don't know if it's only me, but I can't hear anything.
I also cannot hear anything.
I can't hear anything.
I can't hear it, so.
is that any?
Whoops.
Can you hear? Can anybody hear?
Yes.
I cannot hear.
Ken, you hear us?
I do now, yes.
Andy, do you hear us? Can you hear us? Can we hear you? Can you say something?
We heard Ken.
Yes, I can hear.
Okay, this is Andy. Can you hear me?
We have you now.
But you sound far away in a large can.
Okay.
You can try shutting off these mics or those mics now. So just now you got to talk louder though.
Okay.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Go ahead, Andy.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, good. That was just a test to see. Somebody asked me if you could hear me, and I guess you can, and you're better now.
Okay. So I don't know when you started hearing us, but we just passed a motion to not,
You might be.
No,
no, I don't want
now
that.
it's conflicting.
Did you hear that, Andy?
No, you just started to say you passed a motion, but I didn't hear anymore.
We passed a motion and did not accept the proposed application.
Okay,
So we'll have them come back before us after the village board meets. But they will have a chance to come back and make some adjustments to some pitches and lights and what else?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
okay,
So we'll come back before us at our May meeting and still be
Okay.
under,
still be, okay. So,
Still-
in other words, I'm hearing you did not accept it as presented, but you have made some suggestions.
correct. And I wish you could have heard it. You would have been probably making some more suggestions.
Well, I heard something about combining the dormer in front, which I would concur.
Okay. We had to change one of the roof lines of pitch over the screen porch.
Correct,
It's not-
that was too low.
It's not code, so that will have to come up to a minimum of 612. And a lot of the exterior lights will be coming off.
Yeah,
And
too
all-
noise, right.
Only be where we have interior, exterior doors, entrance, exit from the house.
Okay.
Is that about it, John?
I think so. Again, I just want to make sure we're on the same page here. So those three main things is what we'll go back to and tweak and address. And then just so I understand the timeline of that, Brent, or when is, I know it's.
Right, I would need things by the end of the business day on May the 12th.
And then is there anything, the landscaping will, we will work with you guys, or do we have to get that back by the 12th, or can we get that, we'll work with you guys and all that through the whole process like we have with the house, so.
No, I'm comfortable with that, saying we've been through it. The big one there, obviously, from a design standpoint, what's the material, what's the look, what's the color? And then the bigger is, impervious surface values, which you have in all your site planning now, so.
Okay.
For clarity, then, you do not need a landscape plan for next meeting for the 12th?
Not for the 12th.
No,
Okay. Anything else on this? I just want to make sure I'm on the same page.
I think stay in touch with Brent and he'll update anything that,
Okay.
That needs to be updated.
Okay. Well, great. And thank you, everybody, for all your time. I know this is not a process, but we take your feedback and suggestions very seriously. So thank you guys very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, Brent. So now, still on mic's off?
yeah,
Okay. All right. I'll try to lose my voice for Griffin filling. Okay, we're down to, we're back to 7, right? We're 7, Greg Golden?
Yep.
Okay, would you like to?
Okay, Goldtermans were before us for a concept review last month. When Greg was here, he kind of walked us through the process that led him to the concept review last time. As he stated, he had an initial vision of salvaging as much as the first floor as possible and just building second floor on top. He wasn't able to find a contractor that was willing to or suggested doing that. Similar to the item we just discussed, both at HPC and plan, there was a fair bit of discussion, feedback relative to for a formal approval, areas of concern, things they might want to consider tweaking. Greg was not able to attend this meeting, but he did submit 2 documents, one more lengthy than the other. Got into the weeds a little bit as far as the steps they made in an attempt at a new design concept. Probably the biggest is a return to their initial vision of retaining as much of the original first floor material as possible and then building up from that. Yeah, again, just for reiteration, this is 100% working within the footprint of what exists. It's just building a little more space up top. It does meet with our maximums for 25-foot penetration and then 23 feet for max roof height. This also went before HPC this evening, and BD can speak to that. And the only other thing is this is a concept review meeting. And depending on the feedback, if it still seems as though there's a path forward, Greg is well aware of the deadlines and anticipating a quick turnaround to be heard before the deadline we previously discussed.
Okay. As far as HPC goes, we were all very happy with the rework plan and very happy the way Greg has been working with us to make changes and do what he needs to do. And we did not take a vote, obviously, because of his concept review, but we're very happy with him and his design. So with that said, Ken, are you still there? How about Andy? Have the mic.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. What do you have to add?
This is Andy. I'm pleased with that. Again, I'm hearing what the HPC said is good news. And if they are happy with this, so I think so am I. I think, again, what they said, trying to reuse as much of that original material. What color is all of the siding going to be? And is it going to try to replicate the wood log look?
Yes, he's reclaiming as many as logs as he can, and I believe will be keeping it the same color, won't he, Brent? Like a dark gray or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, gray and Door County natural fieldstone.
Okay. Well, they certainly have reduced the overall mass of that second story that sticks out toward the road. And I find the multiple gables and roof lines sort of less distracting than I would have thought, because it does kind of give it more character than just seeing one big massive structure there. So I have no real concerns.
Okay. Ken, are you still there and able to speak?
Yes, I am. I agree with Andy's comments. I appreciate what they've done on, I guess it's the north wall. That was a large blank wall before. And the way they're, I guess that's the side elevation on the lower left, the way they're kind of breaking it up, reducing the mass part of it. And also what I really appreciate is the reuse of materials as much as possible. I think that helps a lot. No, I guess I don't really have any comments. I would like to see, more on the colors and stuff beyond just what it used to look like, because the problem with that is we won't know what it used to look like when it's gone. So, some kind of color samples, because the logs have obviously been painted. So it'd be helpful to have colored samples, and then all their other materials also.
Sure, that will come with the design review, right?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, anything else, Ken?
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Monique.
I'm just going to echo what Andy and Ken said. I really appreciate them taking the feedback that we gave them and making changes to the plan and simplifying things, and especially keeping the old law. And I think the spirit of the building will stay there with these new plans.
Okay, thanks. Grace?
I totally agree. He has addressed all of our concerns and did a fine job of doing that.
Okay, and I agree with everything said. So since it's concept review, we do not take any, move on to the next one, right, Brent?
I'm good with that.
Which is number 8. I gotta give my Matt Lalonde. 9890 Water Street. Deck guardrails design review.
Okay, we have a nice application showing before and after photos or existing and after photos. This again is basically across the street from the two projects we've been talking about. Again, the existing picture really tells us the property we're looking at. But in short, it's taking the second floor and first floor existing decking system and guardrail and replacing that with what you see in the concept drawing below. Material colors, and we have a material sample and color sample of the decking. It's a Trex type in a dark gray for those that aren't with us. And then railing system, it's aluminum. And as shown in the submittal, that would be white. I think I mentioned aluminum for material, but it's aluminum guardrail, handrail material. With that, another project that went before HPC, and they did make a recommendation. BD, if you'd be so kind.
Okay, HPC did make a recommendation to approve it. About the only real comment, everybody thought it was a better look. One person had comments about the blue doors, but there was a 4-0 approval to send that on, recommend approval from Plan Committee. So with that said, Grace, would you like to take the mic? No, maybe no mic.
That's right, no mic. I move we accept the deck and guardrails for Matt Lalonde at 9890 Water Street as presented.
Does anybody have any discussion items for this?
Second, you need a second.
What's that?
Andy said.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Are there any further discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion passed. Number 9, Pine Grove Resort. Design review for a fence at 10080 Water Street.
Okay, our last historic district item, proposed new fence on the Pine Grove property. BD was kind enough to go take some pictures. I'll flip through those after I'm done with my. Basically, it's along the waterfront. Originally, and you'll see this in the site, and they had indicated at one point to be 4 foot high and black metal. I informed them that, you know, for a compliant see-through fence, it has to be 42 inches higher and no higher than 42. And then just expressed, you know, the overall concern within the historic district, the desire of, you know, natural materials, wood or wood-like, and then, you know, browns, grays, you know, weathered wood. So he did go back working with the contractor they were hoping to, being custom fence, and come back with a submittal that is a 42-inch fence in a walnut brown color. Flip through the pictures I mentioned, and then ask BD to provide the recommendation made by the Historic Preservation Committee.
Okay, HPC voted to deny the application, and we didn't feel that there was nobody here to speak for Pine Grove, and we did not approve of the metal railing. We didn't really want to see that on the shorefront, and we had questions about where the black lawn chairs are. There's a bigger drop off there, so we didn't really know what they were looking for. But we recommended that if they were going to do something, they come back to us, and we were proposing a split rail fence, which would match what we have in other parts of the village. So the application was defeated, but nobody was here to present their case.
Yeah.
Okay, having said that, Andy, questions,
Well,
comments?
You spoke to my question, and that is, this is metal, right? It's not composite or anything, it's actually metal, but it's walnut instead of black now.
Well, correct. It was a metal. It's a it's black or something, but we defeated their application. We did not.
Right, and I take that seriously. I think that's a legitimate concern, and you'd like to give them the opportunity to explain why this is preferable.
Okay.
So I would defer or delay or simply vote against it at this point.
Okay. Ken, can you hear us?
I can. To me, the fence as proposed certainly doesn't look simple. There's a lot of spindles on it. I would certainly prefer that split rail fence look that we have. It certainly does the same thing as keeping pedestrian traffic moving through, but I don't think that's the appropriate fence, even in dark walnut, with that amount of vertical spindles for our waterfront.
Okay, thanks. Rick?
I would echo what Andy and Ken have said. I think that a split rail fence, I mean, in their application, they're talking about it's for guest safety. I don't know if that accomplishes that to the same degree, but they're not here to discuss that. So I guess I would echo what has already been said and would say that we not accept this.
Okay. Monique?
I agree with what's been said. I split rail would be a change around.
Grace?
I agree, either a split rail or increase the height on that little stone wall. That's been done along the shoreline too, a couple, 2 feet or something, so people don't fall off the edge, I guess.
And I did say to HPC that the stone wall has pipes, that it used to have a pipe railing, and now they have some solar lights in there, but they could also put a fitting in there and have a pipe railing, which they still have on the stairs. But since nobody was here to defend their request, it got defeated. And I will take a motion. Rick, do you want to do a motion for this, please?
I move that the board accept the application for the fence located at, what is the address?
10080.
At 10080 North Water Street as presented.
Okay. Okay, we have a proposal and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay or no.
Nay.
No.
No.
Okay. The proposal is defeated. Okay, Brent, down to number 10, David Hatch. I wasn't here, so it had to do with.
Okay.
Basically, the
David was before us last time. As you see, he is here again this
David, I
evening.
didn't see you there. Thank you.
Ultimately, last time, David presented his project, which is a commercial workshop in the property that you might recall was rezoned to commercial a couple years ago. Ultimately, long story short, the project or the application was tabled because there was some confusion over where on a lot this would exist, which lot we were talking about. David was in the process of getting some survey work done, so ultimately I believe it was tabled so we could get more clear information on site planning efforts. So with that, David has a submittal before. I think it mirrors what was shown. It takes a little farther from an access easement standpoint, but ultimately we can just look at the submittal, which for Andy and Ken, the only thing different on the site plan that David just dropped off is it still shows lot 1, lot 2, lot 3, which this proposed building would be constructed on lot 1, which is the larger, farther offset off Town Line Drive. But as he discussed before, he'd be looking to utilize the access drive that is on his son's property to the south, and just come off of that. So in the time since the last meeting, I've been working with David just to let him know that in addition to the CSM for the split of lot 1, 2, and 3, he would need, even though it's a family member, a legal easement to cross that to provide access to lot 2. So that is now in hand. So from my standpoint, yeah, we have all the dimensional documents I need. This is a conditional use hearing. Notice did go out. I did not receive any written correspondence, but it's still a public hearing. And then the only other thing before I stop talking for a bit, BD, I did touch on this a bit last time in talking with David before the meeting, that obviously this is a relocation of his workshop operation that exists to the property. I would call it northwest of the existing, and there are existing issues on that property. There are some temporary structures that exist. There are some travel trailers and things that exist. So I guess my recommendation to committee that I can, I guess, say that I feel strong about is I would like a condition placed on this that those nonconformities go away with approval, if we go in the direction of approval.
Okay. David, would you like to address the committee?
Basically, it's just a progress report. It shows the literal location of the proposed garage, and it shows the access driveway off son's property to get to lot 1. So it's basically the same concept, but just I was lacking the clarification on the survey map that we now have in place. So.
Okay.
Just one last thing. So,
Yes.
well, I did let someone else talk in between me talking. Because it's commercial and we may have touched on this a little bit. There are, issues like state approved plans, sanitary permits, approvals like that. There is another step beyond this in which our contracted inspection company will be working with David on necessity for state approved plans, sanitary plans, things like that. So there is an additional step beyond this, but what we hear here is zoning approval. So the building approval side is a whole independent thing that will be happening if the project were to move forward.
Okay, Andy, questions, comments?
Okay, so access is to the north edge coming through the north edge of lot number 2. Do I understand that correctly?
No, that is an existing easement that exists, but the intended easement here as shown, unfortunately in the documents we received as a handout, Andy, are clear in that the legal access for lot 1 will come from the south side, from the neighboring property to the south.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers my, okay. Okay. So is there already a driveway there?
There is a driveway for his son's home. Correct.
Okay, to the south. Okay. Okay. So there will be an additional, some sort of driveway then from that up to the building itself.
Correct. It'll go back to the west as far as the building site and then turn 90 degrees to the north to access.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense than coming in from the north. So I appreciate the clarification. That was my only question.
All right. Ken, if you're on, do you have some comments?
It came up last time also, and just to make it again, since we're getting ready to approve, for a commercial building of this size, is there not a bathroom requirement?
It's for public, it's not for public access. It's strictly family property, family use. It's a storage garage. It's not, it's for private use only.
Well, I understand that. And I guess that comes out with the review. And possibly state or county requirements. But
Yeah,
we don't have any requirements, Brent?
All I can say is our, inspectors, like when I was a residential inspector, are bound to uphold the letter of the, for residential uniform dwelling code, for commercial, that's international building code, whatever it might be. So, I talked to him before. I haven't been in, I know David's had some conversation with him, but that'll be relayed just because it's been specifically noted in here that, we would expect, as with any project, that the letter of the law will be upheld. So,
okay.
If they require some type of sanitary, but I don't administer that code. So,
okay. The other thing is you mentioned the removal of some existing storage on the adjacent lot, just to make sure when we condition this approval of that, do we have a way of specifying exactly what lot that is?
yeah, I can find that as the deliberation continues, so we can cite that. And
Okay.
I did.
So we can reference it.
And I would like to clarify, I think I used the word nonconformity.
Yeah.
The existing workshop David has is right on a property line. So I think what I would rather state, in regard to the travel trailers, or, anything that's, I think our code is unlicensed, inoperable. There's specific language there relative to travel trailers. And with regard to the buildings, I'd rather restate that not to be non-conforming, unpermitted. I think that would.
Okay, that's good.
Okay, Rick?
David, so these objects that are non-permitted, that we're going to probably look to have you remove in order to approve this conditionally, are those on your property directly to the west of this property that we're talking about today?
Yes.
Okay.
The objective is to not need those anymore,
Right.
and move into the garage. Oh, it's
Understand, yep.
in the big picture, yes, that's the plan.
I don't have, other than the unpermitted objects, structures on the adjoining to the west, I have no issues as submitted.
And for the record, it's just really an opportunity to provide further to this. I mean, if you're unpermitted, obviously there's a process for that, but it's kind of similar to when we issue alcohol licenses or anything. If someone has anything outstanding, they haven't paid this, that, the other, we take care of those things before. To me, it's just an opportunity just to further tie that out to give it teeth.
All right.
I just have a couple questions. What we're trying to approve tonight is your new commercial shop, correct?
It's not a commercial shop at all.
Okay.
It's for private use only.
Okay, so it's your workshop.
Strike.
So, new,
Please.
okay,
That's
So
a game changer.
so it's
not-
a
it's
new
private.
workshop?
It's for private use only, yeah, workshop, storage, garage.
Is that how?
If it's a residential garage, David, you're limited to 1,000 square feet. So the whole reason for part of this process and changing the commercial on top of doing the duplex was then you could build a new garage. You can have a home in a commercial district, but it's 3,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet. You can have an accessory that's 1,000. So for me, the only reason that this has legs to stand on from a 2,400 square foot standpoint is as part of your commercial trade operation. That's how this is worded.
So your point is because of the size of it, it is designated as a commercial use?
It's only for Right, Brian, it's only for trade and contractors.
Correct.
It's a special zoning. Yeah, I know. Well, they can't hear me online if I have it on.
What was your comment?
I said this application only applies to trade and contractors establishments. That's the only reason you're allowed to do it, as Brent pointed out. Well, does that change things in your mind?
I'm going to use it the same way that it was classified differently.
I'm wondering if there's confusion in commercial as like open to the public or just for use for a workshop and creating things in the space.
Correct, yeah, it's a staging area. I have, most of my projects are off. It's a place where things are stored. It's a workshop because I'm a carpenter. I mean, dentists have a dentist chair, I have table saws.
It's written for plumbers, heating, air conditioning contractors, excavators, carpenters, and so on. So that we have this part in the zoning to allow you to do what you're trying to do. So I wouldn't get too wrapped up with the commercial moniker. Maybe I should talk to the attorney.
No, that's
all right, Brent. I mean, that's his profession. He's allowed to have a bigger shop.
You're doing woodworking and manufacturing things to take to a job site, to take off-site, correct? You're building things in this building, constructing? Not that often anymore. My work schedule and it happens, but it's not a primary. But it is happening. Oh, it does happen. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think that would be consistent with sub 3. Yeah. This isn't a goal project. This is a dial it down into retirement project. No, but what you're doing with it makes it fit within the zoning. So if you're telling us that yes, you're manufacture things that you're taking to a job site, or okay, then that would be consistent with the zoning code that we're looking at to fit this into. Right. So it sounds like it does.
Yeah.
So I think that we should.
We heard the word yes, and we're ready to.
Think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there another, is there a different reason you don't want it to be commercial?
Only that if it triggers the necessity for a septic system, that is a game changer. It completely changes the scenario. It's for private use only. My 2 sons and 3 grandchildren will grow into that same building like we normally would. Family use and my use as needed. So I think that all we're trying to do here tonight is decide whether or not to grant you a conditional use permit pursuant to this language that we're looking at for someone that's in a trade. So I understand. Yeah, so I think I'm comfortable with it as presented. I don't know if anybody else wants to comment on that.
I would say yes. If you decide not to build it, that's fine. You have 2 years, right, Brent? Is that still, if you find out you need a septic system, don't build. Or until we're willing to.
To move forward, I have, Forest Building is doing a certified, we will build from. I'd like to move forward.
But that's not our issue, that's their issue, in terms of what he needs, correct? So we can approve a conditional use, and if he doesn't get an occupancy permit with the state inspector, that's a separate issue, correct? And that's not for our decision tonight.
Rick and I are just talking whether or not our approval as opposed to the state building code requirements we talked about. I believe that's triggered as part of this process. We are approving a commercial building because by our code, the only way we can approve a 2,400 square foot building is if it's a commercial trade and contractors establishment. So that'll be clearly, relayed to others that this is how this was approved.
Issue with them, that has nothing to do with our approval tonight.
That's his issue with them.
Space. It's not a residential space, correct?
Right.
And our same, again, if it's the same inspectors are residential code versus commercial code, so it'll apply. And
I think I might have a motion if we're ready for that.
Somebody else? Ken,
Can I ask a question?
Just one other point there. If you look at the conditional uses permitted, also when you go down from J, O is accessory structures over 1,000 square feet. So you get to an accessory structure and there wouldn't be a bathroom. I heard Dave say that, it could be storage. He might be doing some things in there. So to me, it could almost fit under either one of those.
Oh,
I just opened that up as another opportunity of his project fitting into our ordinance.
Brent, do you recommend we go with our motion? And David,
I haven't heard it yet, but.
are you comfortable if we proceed with a motion to approve this?
I think Andy has his hand up.
Yeah.
Okay, Andy, go ahead.
Well, my only clarification was Brent's comment earlier about a maximum size of a garage. And this looks a lot like it's going to be used as a garage, or is only a portion of it used as a garage? Is that irrelevant? Or Brent, did I miss? I don't remember exactly the context of your comment, but you said something about, and I'm sorry, I don't have the ordinance in front of me, or I can't find it, where apparently in commercial north, there's a maximum size of a garage.
Correct, and the 1,000 square feet, when I referred to it as a garage, was, that 1,000 square feet number, and then as Ken stated, there is a mechanism to go larger than that by conditional use. But again, it's in one, I guess it's what's the path of least resistance, or what makes the most sense.
Yeah, I have no quarrel with this. I just was trying to clarify that garage issue, and it sounds as though it's not an issue, so I'm satisfied.
Okay.
I'll give it a whirl.
Go ahead.
I move that we approve the building zoning permit application by David Hatch at 10529 Judith Blazer Drive. Is that correct?
No, we need to do
Town line
parcel
property, sorry.
We need to do a
That's
CS.
mailing address, thank you.
Number 10337.
10337
Town Line Drive.
10337.
That's from a
that's
previous application.
Yeah.
So I think we have to go, because this survey hasn't been recorded yet. So I think we have to go with the parcel as it exists today, which is on the zoning permit app. The 121.01, 123, 127, K1 and K2.
Is it on the app, or is
Yeah,
it?
it's on the screen also.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Oh, I see up there. Okay, great. Okay, let's start over again. I move that we approve the building zoning permit application for David Hatch at tax parcel 121-01-123127 K1 and K2, contingent upon removal of unlicensed and unpermitted structures and a legal easement created with his neighbor for driveway access.
Okay, Brent? Okay, do I have,
I second.
okay. Any further discussion? Andy, do you have anything?
Nope.
No. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries. Thank you, David. All right, Brent, we're moving right along. Number 11, SIP, Yenny Bexel. Well, Brent, I'll let you do this.
Yeah. Okay, Yenny is here. She's been before us a few times, but it's been a bit. I'll let her speak to the whys of the project. Freddie's here too.
You may join me.
But ultimately, process-wise, they're looking to add a gazebo type structure on the outside of their property, as shown in the submitted. And what we have come across before is they are looking to utilize this new area for outdoor food and beverage service. So we have lots of restaurants that have outdoor seating areas. Generally, there's not a heavy process involved for that. We take a look at parking, a little bit of things like that, but it's the outdoor service that triggers a conditional use. So with that, I'll let them present. This is a conditional use hearing, and I did not receive any correspondence on this one.
Okay. The floor is yours.
Oh, I assumed you were gonna do all the talking. Well, Brent told us where we're allowed to put this gazebo. We moved it. We had a plan, a thought, but we moved it, so it is, if you scroll down, yes. Right there on the north side of the building. It literally, we want to just have an outdoor bar and a little bit of a grill, and to not have to carry everything in and out every time because of weather. We just wanted to have a roof over it. So a gazebo was the easiest way to do that. Tents don't last. It's too windy up here. So we found a 13 by 17 gazebo that we want to put in that spot right there. And that be able to have just a little outdoor bar. We're actually not adding any seating. It's so we don't, like we didn't even talk about parking because it's not really any changes to that. And we're gonna have, the picture of the gazebo was just, obviously I had the help of it, a robot to put a bar under it. But that is the structure we're looking to add. And any questions?
Do you have anything, or Andy?
You're adding 6 seats. I don't understand. I mean, this may not be a big deal and I'm missing something, but you said you're not adding any more seating.
We had seating there prior. So it's 6 different seats.
We're just trying to cover some seats, having more secure.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, anything else, Andy?
Nope. Fine.
Yeah.
I guess my only question is, the structure's metal. Do you have samples there to take a look at, or, as far as the color?
So Fred is if we get approval, Fred's gonna build the bar, but the actual gazebo is a kit that we are purchasing. So it is a
Aluminum structure, wooden roof. Yeah.
And we found one that matches the grade of the existing building, so it looks nice and cohesive.
So this is a permanent structure. This will stay there summer and winter, or no?
No, I think we're gonna be taking down in the winter because the roof, I don't think can handle the snow loads we've been having, so.
So just for the summer? For
Yeah,
your season,
yeah, it's seasonal, yeah.
And the cooking part of it, the grill or whatever?
That will be put away. It's also, everything is seasonal.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just to be able to do this kind of a pop-up more when we want to, so we don't have to roll the bar out, roll coolers out. Like everyone that's been in a service industry knows how much service industry work that is. So being able to keep everything there and being able to just pop up and open. And we're not adding any hours. We're not gonna do anything crazy. There's not gonna be any raves, promise.
I don't really have any questions. I think it looks nice and, the seating, so there will be, like, I know there's already outdoor seating, so
Sure.
some of that outdoor seating will take place underneath here.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's good.
Actually, we're probably gonna lose some seats because we're probably gonna have like 6 to 8 seats underneath there. And before we have probably 12 seats, so it'd be a couple of few seats, but it'd be covered. That's the main thing.
And being able to have staff working out there without being in the heat, having a little roof over them.
Rick? The seating question was the question that I had, and you've answered that, so I have no issues.
Ken, did I, you, I'm kind of losing.
I'm good, but it does look like, I believe they're seating on both sides.
No, there will only be seating on one side because we will have the grill on the other side.
Oh, I thought it was like an island, so it's just the 6 seats.
Just what the computer made it for us.
Actually, I think it's 8. I think there's one on each end. I can see a chair or stool.
I
But
think
okay.
be max what we're gonna fit in there.
Okay. So the only question I have is sample, but can we go without that?
Yes.
Okay, I'm fine with it. I'll take a motion.
All right, I move that we approve the accessory structure permit for Yenning Bexel at 10326 North Water Street, gazebo with small barn grill as presented.
Okay, thank you, Grace. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor of accepting this proposal, say aye.
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 Go ahead, Ken. Oh, you said aye.
I said aye.
Lost your voice. Okay, all right, congratulations.
Thank you, much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, number 12. Ephraim Business Council.
The last one standing.
Brent, you want to, should we call up the EBC to discuss?
Yeah.
We're
Do
losing.
what you want to do, but
standing.
hit the highlights, anything that's changed, whatever you want.
Nothing's changed.
It's the same. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be sunny and blue skies, very low wind. All those things are in the packet. No, I'm kidding.
Great.
But no, everything organizationally is staying the same. Obviously, like intricacies wise, of some like the musicians and things, we'll change those around, but all of the general concepts and like the general timeline are all sticking the same.
Logistics are the same layout. We're working with the same, the road closures approved. We're working with the same signage company on that. Still renting portable restrooms, same placement as last year. Working with the remote parking locations at the airport and the previous Shopco parking lot. Transportation provided by buses with those throughout the day. So yeah, it's gonna be hopefully a great day.
Questions?
No questions.
Okay, we have to approve these one by one. So I'll take somebody make a motion for the Fear Ball number 12. Right, Brent? We're getting.
Yep.
Okay,
That's.
can I have a motion?
I'm just looking for screen to that. Is it right there? Okay, I move that we approve the Ephraim Business Council's event application for Fear Ball Festival for Saturday, June 20th, 2026.
Okay, second. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 It's approved, thank you. Now we need a motion for the event Bonder Market. Anybody?
I move that we approve the Ephraim Business Council event application for Evenings in Ephraim Bonded Market, Artisan and Farmers Market, Monday, June 22nd through August 31st, 2026 at 10404 North Water Street, Ephraim.
Okay, thank you. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Aye.
Last one, evenings in Ephraim.
Let's make it attractive. I move to approve the business council's evenings in Ephraim concert series at the Harborside Park and Gazebo every Monday from June 22nd to August 31st, 2026.
Thank you. Second?
I second.
Oh, good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motions are passed. Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
everybody.
See you at Beer Ball. All right, Brent, number 15, discussion and recommendation regarding proposed PW ordinance changes.
Okay, so kind of a revisit and necessity to refresh the previous recommendation needed on PW. So as you remember, when we discussed the, what originally was, I'll say, marketed as a moratorium on new major building projects under the conditional use name in PW, we didn't necessarily know how to phrase that, whether it was, building projects, zoning projects, however that was to be worded. By consensus, it was, the board could figure out the mechanism. The intent is the same. That was forwarded to the board with further input from legal counsel. And ultimately what was recommended was doing a much simpler process, one that we have done several times before, most recently when we had the large multifamily development in the north end. The culture project, we dealt with the current application based on the ordinance as it was written. But I guess in light of kind of some real input on a large scale lot, how dense some of that building could have looked, we pulled the use of multifamily as a permitted or conditional use within our code until such time that the planning committee could rewrite that and bring it back to the board in a new form. So ultimately, that is what our legal counsel recommended. That is what the village board has approved and set for public hearing at their May 12th meeting. So because we weren't perfectly clear on what that mechanism was, it was recommended by council that we bring this back to plan committee just so they could further have an opportunity to pass a recommendation if you're so inclined based on the current vehicle, which is what's before you. Ultimately, it is an ordinance amending the zoning code, and ultimately what it's doing is removing two sections. Section 1720, parent B, parent B, parent 1, which I'll scroll down, is in protected waterfront by conditional use. We have the option for people to, on parcels where there is a residence, additions, modifications to, or of existing structures subject to 1725. So that's what the first section does, is remove that from the code. Section 2 is removal of section 1720, parent 5, which is cited in the parent B1. This is what provides the guidance for additions, modifications to or replacement of existing structures or existing residences in PW. So again, similar to what we did with the multifamily, is if the board would approve this on the 12th of May, it would, for a period of time, cease to exist. It would be part of the history, but that vehicle would be removed. As we discussed with both applications, any applications received under this heading between now and when the board would hypothetically pass of this ordinance amendment on the 12th, we would hear them under the current code. Once that date is signed or has passed, approved and signed, then it no longer exists. With that said, this committee made it clear that we had an intent to move quickly on this. We didn't want this to be something where we're spending a year or more crafting new language. So the board didn't get into any great detail about that, but I'd say they definitely echoed that and maybe even put more importance on that than we did, and we took a hard look at it. So I think the board might come up with a particular mechanism to deal with the timing of all this, whether there's a sunset, whether or not they establish, if and when such time passes and there is no ordinance before the board to reconsider, maybe they consider readopting the ordinance as it's today. And then the other, I think, just from, I think what's with the board and certainly what's on the street is, this is me going a little bit off topic, but I think there is some concern on the street that nothing will come back in its place. So I don't think that is the intent of this committee. I think we are motivated about this done, get this done quickly. So whether it's by consensus or a separate motion relative to that, I guess my thought would be a recommendation, one, to approve the recommendation and the new ordinance language amendment as submitted before you, and some discussion, again, whether it's by consensus or a separate acknowledgement or motion, that this board fully intends to get this ordinance done. And to the board, I think we talked about 3 months. Also that there is clear intent that something will go back in its place. This isn't, the intent going into this is not that the planning committee is going to strike that, intended to remain struck. We will craft new language, and a vehicle like this, slightly different, will exist moving forward for people to do modification work, addition work, even replacement work to homes in PW.
BD, could I add something to what Brent just said?
Sure, go ahead, Ken.
I think a number of you were at the board meeting, I guess it's just 2 weeks ago, and we were discussing the schedule and time frame. And I stated, representing the plan committee, that we would do a revised ordinance and have something to them for approval in 90 days. Now, I can't, say how long it'll take if the board wants changes and so forth, that the whole process would be done. But I stated that the plan committee will revise the ordinance and get something out there within 90 days.
Okay, yeah, I think most of us, we're there, we know that, which means 2 working sessions per month. And just for clarification, we can't start that until the village board approves it. So
Correct.
May 12th, May 13th, we could have our first one. Okay. All right, so Rick?
Well, I guess before I would propose a motion, I just want to state my support for this in a conditional way. My concern is that this is and I realize that this has been done before in the village. It is a somewhat drastic, I shouldn't say drastic, but it's an important move. It's a very clear move. And it would be my preference, assuming that meets legal muster, that there be a sunset provision on this, that in the event that we run into difficulty, that the ordinance that has been struck be reinstated word for word, if we haven't changed anything by December 31st. So in other words, a sunset provision. I'm not saying that it necessarily has to work that way mechanically. That's the way I'd like to see it work. Don't know if that meets legal muster. I don't know. This isn't the appropriate time to talk about that, but I would like to see that. So if I vote yes, that we recommend this, I guess it's kind of a conditional yes from my standpoint. And I'd like to maybe have, a consent afterwards that is our intent, that this language comes back as written today if the plan committee and the village board have not adopted new language in the protected waterfront district. I don't know if that makes it muddy or more clear, but I think that that's very important that we do that. My concern here is that there will probably be pressure, amongst some of the people, that these things be taken out so that we don't have any change. So that the homes that are there stay that way forever. I mean, there is a constituency for that within the village. And I don't want that to carry the day. I want conditional uses, or it's with the new language or the existing language to be back in our zoning code as to a protected waterfront district, in the event that we're unable to come up with something new.
Okay, I think that's fair.
I do too. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andy?
Yeah, I was going to just add my agreement to that. I think it's, as stated, we just need to be fair and upfront and actually state so for the sake of especially people who think that any chance of building and remodeling goes away with this. So I agree.
Okay. Ken, do you have anything to add?
I would support that provision. We can talk to the attorney prior to the board meeting of the best way to put it in there, if it can just be added. I don't think it can be added to the ordinance, but we have to figure out how to do it, but I support it.
And as far as, sorry.
No, John has his hand up.
Okay.
I just was wondering, as far as what you were saying earlier, Brent, about that we need to make at least some kind of statement or something that says that we want to continue this intent, our intent of allowing renovation and rebuilding, and that we are supportive of a time frame. I mean, how are we going to go about doing that? Or will that just be part of our?
I think what Rick said spoke to that a little bit, and ultimately, regardless of planning committee's intent and good faith and all those things, it's the board that can decide. So if that's strongly put and they seem adamant and they want this turned around quickly, they can decide to do that very thing. By what mechanism they do that, whether it's sunset or parallel tracks or whatever it might be, they have the power to do that. So, yeah, I just wanted to discuss so it's clear on the record a little bit better than just, on good faith. At least we're all being recorded saying that this is.
Actually seen, I think there's been some very positive movement in the last couple of sessions with people, with the Gelmans, Goldmans especially. So, but I do think, again, it would help us all if things are clarified.
John, did you have something to say?
Yeah, thank you. I totally concur with Rick's thoughts on this about a sunset clause. I think it's a good idea, and I appreciate the committee looking at that. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you. Rick, do you care to try to make the proposal?
I'll give it a try. I move that the committee recommend to the village board approving the ordinance amending Village of Ephraim zoning code pertaining to the protected waterfront zoning district, which comprises of 4 sections that the plan committee recommend adoption by the village board of that, and it's May 12th public hearing, and that the board further add a 5th section, adding a sunset provision, bringing back the existing zoning, pertaining zoning language in the event that there is no new language adopted.
By December 31st?
By December 31st.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Maybe just.
Okay, go ahead.
If for some reason, and again, just you mentioned too, from a legal standpoint, as long as all use passes muster, whatever. If that can be seamlessly melded into this, I think that's great. But on the off chance that because that's an amendment to an ordinance that's already been published and posted, we have made changes before at public hearings, so I believe that to be the case. But if for some reason that would delay it, and again, I don't believe that to be the case, if adding that in there would delay us another month, is it adding a section 5 or any
Well, we're just making,
mechanism in which to?
we're just making
create
a
a sunset?
recommendation.
Yeah,
So we're just recommending it and we're gonna run it by the attorney.
okay.
And then he can opine as to notice and any further notice requirements, seems to me.
Okay.
But with
And
the understanding is we don't want to go through additional notice and delay. If we're going to do this, we want to do it at the May 12th meeting. I mean, I'm just, that we all kind of understand. And there might be another way to handle this. I think we will definitely talk to the village attorney and get his suggestion. And it could be added on, Rick, as just a second without changing the language that's being proposed here. I think we could handle it that way too, but let Brent and I look into it before the village board meeting.
Andy, do you have something to say?
Well, isn't the final motion subject to whatever the board decides that night, based also on having heard the open hearing?
Right.
And I think the fact that we have done this as a plan committee gives the board the opportunity to at least note that in responding to concerns at the public hearing. Whether that, my point is, I think this is helpful, and it doesn't necessarily bind the board one way or the other. They can pass whatever motion they want to pass. And if it means, if adding this means that we have to have another public hearing, then I hope the board doesn't bother to add it, but at least they can report this as an action of the plan committee. Does that make any sense? I'm just, I mean, I don't know the answer that were raised, that Brent raised, right? Does this mean if they change the motion, they have to start over?
I don't think so. You know, it's not something that's adding, it's not changing intent. It's not making something more restrictive. It's just providing guidance that, and documentation that this isn't the end, that this is a temporary measure.
Correct.
Okay, so motion is made. Do I have a second?
I second it.
I'll say, listen, go ahead.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen and ladies. New business. We want to talk about that now? For next meeting?
I don't think I have anything to talk about.
You want to talk about adjournment? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Move we adjourn.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.